Cold rain has erased the road behind you. The only shelter for miles is a crowded roadside inn, and the keeper has one place left, a damp straw bed that has already held dozens of travelers. You are exhausted, soaked, and cold enough to accept almost anything. But when the door closes, warmth and safety separate into two different things. The room is warmer than the road, and alive in ways you cannot yet see. This is not a private chamber. People cough, turn, whisper, and scratch in nearby beds. Blankets, benches, clothing, and mattresses pass from stranger to stranger with almost no chance to be thoroughly cleaned. Your mattress is a cloth sack packed with straw. It holds warmth, sweat, shed skin, dust, and whatever arrived with the previous guest. A faint movement beneath the surface may be straw settling, or something searching for heat. Near the headboard, dark specks mark the wood. In a modern room, you might recognize them as evidence. Here, they are simply one more stain among years of soot, dirt, and human use. Outside, the rain is near freezing. Inside, the floor is crowded and the benches are already taken. You must remain until dawn. The question is not whether the room is clean. It is how much damage one night can do. In an infested room, the bed is the center of the system. It provides darkness, narrow hiding places, warmth, and a predictable human body that remains still for hours. Fleas, lice, bedbugs, and scabies are often grouped together in memory, but they behave differently. Understanding which threat lives in the bed, which lives in clothing, and which lives in skin changes every decision. Bedbugs do not need to live on you. They hide close to where people sleep, inside joints, seams, wall gaps, and folds, then emerge at night to feed before returning to cover. A bedbug bite may not wake you immediately. Feeding can pass unnoticed, and visible marks may not appear until hours or even days later. That delay makes the first hour dangerously deceptive. Fleas do not crawl patiently from a crack. They jump. Animals, bedding, floor debris, and clothing can all bring them within reach. The dog asleep near the hearth is not merely company. Body lice usually live and lay eggs in clothing seams, moving to the skin to feed. In a world where garments are rarely washed hot or changed often, the most dangerous place may be the tunic you keep on for protection. Head lice remain close to the scalp and spread mainly through direct contact or shared personal items. A borrowed cap, hood, or pillow can move the problem from one person to another. Scabies is caused by a microscopic mite that burrows into the upper layer of skin. It spreads mainly through prolonged skin contact and, less commonly, contaminated bedding or clothing. One night may expose you, but symptoms may wait for weeks. Every traveler adds something: mud, fleas, lice, sweat, skin cells, and insects hidden in baggage. The inn does not need to be uniquely filthy. Repeated human traffic is enough to keep the cycle moving. The keeper can shake out straw, air blankets, scrub boards, or burn badly infested material. But without reliable heat treatment, sealed laundering, or modern insecticides, control is incomplete and reinfestation is easy. You could leave the bed, but the room itself is cold. Wet clothing steals heat. The floor draws warmth from your body. The infested mattress is also the best insulation available. A wooden bench looks safer because it has no mattress. Yet cloaks, bags, and travelers have rested there all day. Fleas can remain in floor debris, and bedbugs can hide in nearby cracks. Sitting upright reduces contact with the mattress, but replaces one problem with another. Your neck drops, your back tightens, and every sound becomes a reason to stay awake. Sleeping on the floor increases distance from the bed frame, but brings you closer to damp straw, fleas, rodents, boots, and cold air. Survival is becoming a choice between imperfect risks. The best decision happens before sleep. You lift the mattress edge, check the frame joints, examine the wall, and look along the seams. You cannot eliminate the infestation, but you can avoid the worst concentration. Pulling the frame slightly away from the wall may reduce one route, but the legs, mattress, blanket, and your own clothing remain connected. In a crowded room, isolation is nearly impossible. Your satchel is your future. If insects enter its seams, the night continues into the next town. You hang it away from the bed, close every flap, and keep clothing inside rather than scattered on the floor. One relatively clean linen cloth becomes your most valuable resource. You keep it away from blankets and use it as a barrier at the neck and wrists, where exposed skin meets fabric. Tight sleeves and tucked layers reduce exposed skin, but body lice can live in clothing seams. Wearing everything may protect you from some bites, while warming the habitat of another parasite. The thick communal blanket offers warmth, but has touched unknown bodies. You can fold it over itself, avoid placing it near your face, and use the cleaner inner layer against clothing. The pillow sits where hair, skin, saliva, and breath collect. It can carry lice or contaminated fabric. You replace it with your rolled cloak. Even though the cloak has traveled through stables and rain, you lie down fully dressed. For several minutes, nothing happens. Then a faint prick at the ankle, another at the wrist, and a movement in the straw announce that inspection was not control. Bedbug marks may appear in clusters or lines, but not every person reacts the same way. One guest may wake covered in itching spots, while another shows almost nothing. Soon, the room develops a rhythm. Fabric shifting, fingernails on skin, sleepers turning over, someone slapping at an ankle. The sound makes every imagined movement feel real. A bite alone does not tell you which parasite caused it. Mosquitoes, fleas, bedbugs, lice, and irritated skin can resemble one another. Certainty is a luxury you do not have tonight. Slapping and rubbing may kill an insect, but it can also smear dirt or parasite material into broken skin. With body lice, infected feces entering scratches can be the real route of disease, not the bite itself. Bedbugs are not known to transmit disease to people. Their danger is more indirect. Itching, lost sleep, anxiety, allergic reaction, and skin infection caused by repeated scratching. Body lice are different. In crowded populations with poor access to bathing and clean clothing, infected body lice can transmit serious illnesses, including epidemic typhus. But infection depends on the louse carrying the pathogen. You will not develop epidemic typhus before dawn. When infection occurs, symptoms usually begin about 8 to 16 days after exposure. The danger of tonight is exposure, the invisible possibility that leaves the room with you. During a first scabies infestation, symptoms may take 4 to 8 weeks to appear, even though transmission can occur before the itching begins. That means you can share bedding, carry the mite, and spread it before understanding what happened. By midnight, the greatest measurable damage is exhaustion. Every bite, sound, and suspicion restarts your alertness. The body needs sleep, but the bed teaches the brain to treat stillness as danger. Leaving the mattress repeatedly lets your body cool. Returning beneath the blanket exposes you again. The colder you become, the more attractive the warm bed feels, and the harder clear decisions become. Itching competes with self-control. Fingernails carry dirt. Repeated scratching can break the skin, and broken skin turns an irritating bite into a possible bacterial infection. You cannot sterilize the room, but you can reduce harm. You wrap fingertips in linen, press rather than rake the skin, and keep the irritated areas covered from dirt and insects. The wash basin holds a small amount of cold water already used by others. Washing helps remove dirt, but shared water and cloth can introduce new contamination. You must decide what is cleaner than what. Soap existed, but access, quality, and routine use varied. A traveler cannot assume there is enough for bathing, clothing, bedding, and a room. Cleaning one wrist is possible. Cleaning the system is not. Sustained high heat can kill bedbugs, lice, and scabies mites under controlled conditions. But bringing straw, wool, and wooden furniture close to an open flame could trade infestation for fire. The safest room is still built from fuel. Violently shaking bedding inside the room may scatter fleas, dust, eggs, and insects into neighboring beds and clothing. Control without containment can make the room worse. You move to the driest edge of the mattress, away from the wall and the darkest frame joint. It is not safe. It is simply the location with fewer signs. At intervals, you raise the candle and inspect the sheet. A dark moving speck becomes proof. Crushing it leaves a rusty mark, blood taken from someone in this room. An insect crossing your blanket may have fed on another guest, hidden in the wall, or arrived in your own cloak. In this room, ownership is meaningless. Every sleeping place shares the same ecosystem. Once you know insects are present, every hair movement feels like a bite. The mind cannot separate real contact from expectation. That hypervigilance protects you, but prevents recovery. In this room, a few seconds of micro-sleep are uncomfortable. On tomorrow's road, they may be dangerous. The cost of the bed will continue when you must ride, walk, or make decisions without rest. Most bites cause limited symptoms, but some people develop larger swelling or allergic reactions. Without modern treatment, the safest response is to watch breathing, swelling, and general condition rather than assume every mark is harmless. If you rush outside half-dressed, the freezing rain becomes the immediate threat. If you tear the room apart, you spread insects and lose the only shelter available. Controlled discomfort is safer than impulsive escape. You designate one corner for exposed clothing and another for protected belongings. The separation is crude, but it reduces the chance that every object becomes a carrier. Bedbugs usually spread by hiding in belongings, seams, and furniture rather than remaining on the body. Boots, folds, bags, and blankets become vehicles. At dawn, inspection matters as much as relief. Removing garments may expose more skin and spread lice onto bedding. Keeping them on preserves warmth and control, but also keeps any body lice close. There is no option without a cost. Between 2 and 4 in the morning, the room is silent enough to hear straw shift beneath you. Fatigue dulls judgment. You stop checking every bite and begin making slower, less careful movements. When the itching peaks, you press the skin through fabric, cool it briefly with damp linen, and avoid tearing it open. It does not remove the cause. It limits the secondary damage. Bedbugs can feed and retreat within minutes. Fleas jump away. Lice return to seams. By the time you search, the evidence may be a mark on skin rather than an insect in hand. Light changes what you can see, not what is present. Cracks remain full of hiding places. Eggs and insects survive where fingers, brushes, and casual shaking cannot reach. In daylight, you count bites at the ankles, wrists, neck, and waistline. Some are raised, others barely visible. The pattern tells you exposure occurred, but not the full species or future outcome. You turn cuffs and seams inside out. Knits attached to fibers suggest lice. Moving insects near stitching confirm that the problem may travel with you even if the bedbugs remain behind. The satchel hung away from the bed has fewer signs, but no guarantee. A single fertilized female or a few overlooked insects can be enough to establish another infestation in a new sleeping place. Ideally, exposed clothing and bedding would be washed and heated thoroughly. In this inn, you may only have sunlight, vigorous brushing outdoors, fresh straw, and the hope of keeping items separated until better cleaning is possible. The warmest object in the room is also the object most likely to carry the room with it. Leaving borrowed bedding behind is one of the few easy decisions. If you have a spare linen layer, changing away from the sleeping area and isolating the worn clothing reduces hitchhikers. Many travelers would not own that luxury. The keeper can replace straw and scrub wood, but travelers arrive every night. One infested cloak can restart the cycle. The building is not defeated by dirt alone. It is defeated by constant movement. For a healthy adult, one night of bedbug and flea bites is more likely to produce misery than death. The serious risks come from lost sleep, allergic reaction, skin infection, body louse disease, and carrying exposure into future crowded spaces. You survive because you recognize the difference between discomfort and danger. You stayed warm, limited skin damage, protected belongings, and avoided turning panic into hypothermia, fire, or wider infestation. Survival does not end at the door. For days, you must watch for delayed itching, rash, fever, worsening swelling, or infected scratches, and avoid sharing bedding or clothing until you can clean them properly. The most successful parasite is not the one you see feeding. It is the one hidden in a seam as you enter the next inn. Place your bag beside another bed and begin the cycle again. You made it through 8 hours in a bed full of bugs. But knowing the bites may follow you for weeks, and the insects may follow you to the next shelter, could you lie down and stay until dawn?